What's up, guys? So it's about time we introduced you to the if statement. What the if statement is, basically, we will be using our programs to make decisions for decision making. We'll use our programs for decision making, and an if statement is basically a decision. You give the computer a decision to make, basically. So you give it a condition. You say if this is true, do this. If it's false, don't do this, basically. Well, that's what I want to show you today anyway. Obviously it gets more complicated in later tutorials, but the basics of it is that. And I'm going to show you the basics of it today. So what we're going to do is, we're going to just declare a variable, just call it age, okay? And then I'm going to assign age with the value of 20, my age. So we now have a variable called age, an integer variable, and it has the value of 20. So down here we're going to make an if statement, and we're going to make an if. Yeah, we're going to say if age is greater than 18, you may enter. But if age is less than 18, we're going to print out you cannot enter. So say it's like a over 18 site or something like that. So the syntax for this is, syntax is just the kind of grammar of your code. Like you see the syntax here, int age semicolon, that's the grammar of our code, the syntax of it. So it's this kind of like our opening and closing curly braces is all syntax. That's the kind of name for it. Don't worry too much about that anyway. But basically the syntax of an if statement is the words if, and then you have brackets, and in these brackets you put your condition, what you want the computer to test, and if this is true, then you want to give it some instructions. Just bear with me anyway, I'll show you. So what we said was, if we want to print out you may enter if age is greater than 18. So basically, if age is greater than or equal to 18, so remember, so this thing here, so if you want to say just greater than 18, that means if they're 18 they can't enter because you have to be greater than 18. But greater than or equal to 18, we've all seen this in maths, greater than or equal to. Well, this is just the way you write it in Java. Greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to 18. So, if age is greater than or equal to 18, what do you want to do? Well, same thing again. You see these curly braces. We have these opening and closing curly braces for our if statement instructions here. So just say this is true. This condition is true. Then whatever we put in here, the computer will carry out them instructions. But if this here is false, the computer will skip these instructions. So I'll show you anyway. So I just want to tighten this up a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to put in a print statement. So system.out.println. I'm just going to print out you may enter. You may enter. Okay, so we have that there. You may enter. What if it's under 18? What if the person's under 18? Then we want to print out you may not enter. But we can't just print out, you may not enter here. Like say if we had print line you may not enter. So that means like, so we wanted to, so we have if the age is greater than this, we wanted to print out this, you may not enter. But if it's less than this, we want to skip all this and print out you may not enter. So you may enter if you're greater than or equal to 18, but you may not enter if you're less than 18. But if we just had it like this, then if the age was less than 18, this will be skipped, and then it will print out you may not enter. That's fine. But if the age was greater than 18, it would print out this, and then it would also go down in sequence and print out this. We don't want that. So what you do is you use the else. I'll show you now. Else. And then you use the same thing again. You're opening and closing curly braces. And we just take this here and you just put that inside that. So whenever you have an if statement, you have your condition, and if your condition is true, the instructions inside your if curly braces will be carried out. But if your condition is false, these will be skipped and this else statement will be carried out. System, you may not enter. And likewise, if this is true, this will be carried out and this will be skipped. So I'll just compile and run that now and I'll show you what I mean. So that's compiled now. So I was going to run that. That's something wrong with that. What is wrong with that? Compile it. Okay. So we got problems here. You see in this, saying we have errors. Public class if. Right. See, we have an error with this. You see up here, I named my file if because I was going to be showing you an if statement. However, if you see the way it's highlighted in blue, that's because it's a Java keyword or a Java reserved word. A Java reserved word. We can't even stop. Let's even get a Java reserved word. There you go. And what that means is, we can't use it in any other way other than as an if statement. So I can't use it as the class title. So I'm going to have to change this. So I'm going to just make it statement. And now I can use this. I've got a file. I got to save this as statement. And now we should be good to go. So I'll compile and run this. Just give that a second. So again, the if here, we're just giving the computer a decision to make. As you can see, this should be printed out and this should not be printed out. So we'll run this and see what happens. And there you go. It says you may enter. That's because age is greater than 18. So because age is greater than 18, it prints out this, what's inside the curly braces, and then it skips this. Because this kind of means, like, if age is greater than or equal to 18, do this. Or if age is anything else, do this. So let's make age less than 18. So let's make it 5. So we'll compile that. And run that. And there you go. It says you may not enter. Because the computer went down here, it said if age, which is 5, is greater than or equal to 18, it's not greater than or equal to 18, so it skipped all this, and it went down to else, which means if age has a value of anything else, print out this, and that's what it did. So that's your intro to the if statement and your intro to decision making. Your if statement is probably one of the most important things to learn in Java. I know you're only learning, it's only a few tutorials in, but these are the foundation of programming, and these are really important stuff. So just make sure you know this, make a few your own little programs, and call back for the next tutorial.